In the sun-soaked streets of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where the Atlantic breeze carries the salt of the ocean and the pulse of dreams beats as fiercely as the waves crashing against the shore, a young boy named Nik Bonitto first laced up his cleats. Born on September 26, 1999, under the humid canopy of South Florida's endless summer, Nik entered a world rich with cultural tapestry, Cuban rhythms from his father's side, Jamaican resilience, and Haitian spirit woven into the fabric of his upbringing. His parents, Vincent Bonitto and Sandra Penn, were the quiet architects of his ambition. Vincent, a wine distributor who clocked 12-hour shifts and sometimes vanished across state lines for work, embodied the grind of providing without complaint. Sandra, a nurse whose days stretched from dawn to mid-afternoon, crafted a sanctuary of routine and encouragement for her two sons, Nik and his older brother Gerard. In a household where hard work was not just preached but practiced, Nik learned early that speed wasn't merely a gift of the legs, it was forged in the heart. Fort Lauderdale, with its palm-fringed parks and relentless humidity, was more than a backdrop, it was a proving ground. Nik's childhood unfolded in the shadow of the beach, where backyard games evolved into organized youth leagues. He remembers the sting of the sand in his eyes during pickup scrimmages, the way his small frame would dart between bigger kids, earning him whispers of "baby feet" for his uncanny quickness. But it was Sandra who turned those whispers into roars. Working her nursing shifts to align with school drop-offs and practice runs, she became the family chauffeur, cheerleader, and conscience. She'd wake us at the crack of dawn, Nik later reflected, driving us to school, then to drills, all while her own exhaustion hung like a fog. But her nerves? They never showed. She made me believe I could outrun fear itself. Vincent, though often absent in body, was present in spirit, his long hours a silent lesson in discipline. The couple's marriage, spanning 23 years until their amicable divorce in 2022, remained a model of co-parenting grace, their bond unbroken for the sake of their boys. Even after the split, Vincent and Sandra sat side by side at games, a united front that mirrored the multicultural harmony they instilled at home. Nik's athletic spark ignited young, but football claimed him fully in middle school. As an 8th grader, he suited up for varsity at Nova Southeastern University School, a private prep academy in Davie, Florida. Towering at 6'3" even then, with a wiry 200 pounds of untapped potential, he terrorized quarterbacks from the strong side defensive end spot. But when his coach, Roger Harriet, jumped ship to helm the powerhouse program at St. Thomas Aquinas High School, Fort Lauderdale's gridiron cathedral, alma mater to legends like Bosa and Irvin, Nik followed without hesitation. It was a move that would catapult him from local talent to national prospect. St. Thomas Aquinas wasn't just a school, it was a football factory, churning out pros amid the roar of Friday night lights under the Florida sky. Nik arrived as a sophomore in 2015, stepping into a legacy program that demanded excellence. Under Harriet's tutelage, he blossomed into a 4-star recruit, his body filling out to 240 pounds of coiled explosiveness. Over his high school tenure, Bonitto amassed over 140 tackles, a staggering 26.5 tackles for loss, and 17 sacks that left offensive lines in ruins. He snagged 2 interceptions, forced 2 fumbles, and recovered 3 more, his baby feet, moniker now a badge of terror for blockers who couldn't touch him. As a senior, he earned Under Armour All-American honors, ranked number 197 overall by ESPN and 7th among outside linebackers nationally. Offers poured in from blue blood programs, Alabama, Ohio State, Auburn, but Nik's heart pulled him to the crimson and cream of the University of Oklahoma. Norman felt like home, he said, a place where speed could rewrite history. The transition to college wasn't seamless. Arriving in Norman in 2018, Nik redshirted his freshman year, dipping his toes into 3 games with just 3 tackles. The Sooners' defense was in flux. Coordinator Mike Stoops' firing mid-season left a vacuum of structure. Nik, raw and restless, grappled with the discipline required at this level. I was on thin ice early, he admitted years later, testing limits, learning that college football doesn't forgive impatience. But 2019 brought redemption. Under new coordinator Alex Grinch, Nik shifted to outside linebacker, earning a starting nod 6 games in. He exploded for 43 tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss, and 3.5 sacks, capping the year with a Big 12 championship performance against Baylor, 5 tackles, 2 for loss, and 1.5 sacks in a 30-23 thriller. His first career interception sealed a win at West Virginia, a pick six that echoed through Memorial Stadium. By his redshirt sophomore year in 2020, amid the chaos of a pandemic-shortened season, Nik had ascended. Limited to 7 games, he still notched 29 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, and a blistering 7.5 sacks, earning Associated Press second-team All-American nods. Pro Football Focus crowned him a first-team All-Big 12 honoree, his bend around the edge a nightmare for tackles. The year was a masterclass in efficiency. In a 62-28 rout of Missouri, he sacked the quarterback twice, his quick first step dissecting protections like a surgeon's blade. Off the field, majoring in communications, Nik honed a voice as steady as his rush. Interviews revealing a maturity beyond his 21 years, crediting his parents' sacrifices for every snap. 2021, his redshirt junior swan song, was Bonitto at his zenith. Starting all 12 games, he tallied 39 tackles, 15 tackles for loss, 7 sacks, and a forced fumble, repeating as second-team All-Big 12. A 70-yard fumble return for a touchdown against Kansas State set a school record, his speed turning chaos into triumph. In the regular season finale versus Oklahoma State, he erupted for 5 tackles, 2 sacks, and 3 tackles for loss, a performance that propelled OU to the playoffs. Semi-finalist for the Chuck Bednarik Award, Nik opted out of the Alamo Bowl to declare for the NFL Draft, his college ledger closing at 117 tackles, 18.5 sacks, and a legacy as Oklahoma's 13th all-time sack leader among linebackers. "Norman taught me patience," he reflected. From redshirt to record setter, it was all about trusting the process. The 2022 NFL Draft, held in Las Vegas under the neon glow of possibility, became Nik Bonitto's coronation. Back in Fort Lauderdale, the Bonitto living room thrummed with tension on that Mother's Day weekend. Sandra Penn sat beside her son, her hand steady on his knee, whispering words of faith. "Wherever God wants you, that's where you'll land. First round or 7th. Vincent paced nearby, Gerard offering brotherly jabs to ease the nerves. As the second round unfolded, the Denver Broncos, fresh off trading for Russell Wilson and eyeing a pass rush renaissance, held the 64th pick, acquired in the Von Miller deal. General Manager George Paton, enamored with Nik's 4.68-second 40-yard dash and sub-4.2 short shuttle, pulled the trigger. Elvis Dumervil, the Broncos' all-time sack king, announced the selection, his gravelly voice booming. The Denver Broncos select Nik Bonitto, Oklahoma. Elation erupted. Sandra's tears flowed freely. "The best Mother's Day gift ever," she beamed, while Vincent enveloped his son in a bear hug. Pat Surtentu's mother, a high school rival turned teammates kin, called to welcome the Penns to the Broncos family. The next day, Nik, Sandra, and Vincent jetted to Englewood, touring UC Health Training Center, meeting coaches Nathaniel Hackett and Ejiro Evero. "Denver feels electric," Nik said, his eyes alight. At 6'3", 248 pounds, with a frame blending power and poetry, he was the missing piece. A speed rusher to complement Bradley Chubb and Randy Gregory, his elite burst, ranked top 5 among prospects, promising chaos off the edge. Rookie minicamp in May 2022 was Nik's baptism in orange and blue. He dazzled in OTAs, his first step leaving veterans nodding. Training camp brought reality. A deep edge group meant earning reps the hard way. Injuries to Chubb and Gregory opened doors, but Nik's inexperience showed. Against the run, he'd occasionally get washed out by double teams. Still, his preseason flashes, 2 sacks in exhibition games, hinted at stardom. Week 1 against Seattle, he logged 6 snaps, a quiet debut in a 17-16 loss. The season unfolded as a learning curve, 27 tackles for 0.5 sacks, and a forced fumble across 16 games, 0 starts. His breakout came late, 2 sacks in a Thanksgiving rout of the Chargers, stripping Justin Herbert in a play that swung momentum. Off-field, Nik majored his communications degree into community work, hosting youth camps in Denver, his Haitian-Jamaican-Cuban roots shining in multilingual pep talks. But whispers of a nagging ankle tweak tested his resolve. He played through it, embodying the grit Vincent had modeled. 2023 marked the pivot. With Gregory's inconsistencies and Chubb's sidelined by ACL tears, Nik ascended to starter in Week 4 against Chicago. In a 31-28 comeback, he unleashed 2.5 sacks and a forced fumble, scooped by Jonathan Cooper for a tying score. "That was my I'm here moment," Nik grinned post-game. He finished with 43 tackles, 7.5 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles, his bendy rushes ranking top 10 league-wide per Next Gen Stats. A strip sack on Geno Smith sealed a Monday night win over Seattle, the ball bouncing into Broncos' hands for victory. Injuries nipped at his heels. A hamstring pull sidelined him for 2 games, but Nik returned fiercer, his film study with Evero transforming raw speed into surgical precision. Teammates dubbed him the Blur, his locker room energy, blasting reggae playlists, sharing jerk chicken recipes, a bridge to the locker room's diversity. By season's end, whispers of Pro Bowl nods circulated, but Nik stayed grounded, tattooing a Sooners script on his arm as a nod to Norman. The 2024 explosion redefined Nik Bonitto. Under new coordinator Vance Joseph, the Broncos' defense morphed into a wrecking crew, and Nik was its lightning rod. Starting all 17 games, he erupted for 13.5 sacks, the third most in the NFL, tying Von Miller and Bradley Chubb's 2018 franchise mark for double-digit sacks. His 40 tackles for loss and 22 QB hits were elite, but the highlights? Theatrical. Week 13 Monday night against Cleveland. Reading Jameis Winston's eyes, Nik snared an interception, weaving 71 yards for his first career pick-six, the roar of Empower Field shaking the Rockies. 2 weeks later, post-bye, he leaped a lateral against Indianapolis, returning at 50 yards to ice a 31-20 win, back-to-back defensive touchdowns, a rarity for edge rushers. A forced fumble on Raiders' Zamir White in Week 15 sealed another divisional scalp. Awards cascaded. Pro Bowl berth, second-team All-Pro, AFC Defensive Player of the Week after a 3-sack rampage versus the Jets. Peers voted him number 38 on the NFL Top 100, the Broncos' highest. Yet, a mid-season calf strain tested him, missing 1 game, but returning to dominate. Off-field, Nik launched the Bonitto Family Foundation, partnering with Food Bank of the Rockies to distribute turkeys and meals to 200 Denver families, echoing Sandra's nurturing ethos. His good bromance with Cooper, once a gruff vet, now a sack-sharing soulmate, fueled their duo's league-leading pressure rate. "Coop pushes me. I push him," Nik said. "We're family now." As 2025 dawned, Nik's star burned brighter. Preseason opener against San Francisco, a sack and multiple hits in limited snaps, despite a minor foot bone spur cleanup that briefly sidelined him. September 4th brought seismic news, a 4-year, $106 million extension, up to $120 million with incentives, $70 million guaranteed, crowning him Denver's highest-paid non-QB ever. "This is for my parents, my brother, the city that's embraced me," he declared, signing amid cheers at Dove Valley. Through 11 games, Nik's pace is historic. 9.5 sacks, third in NFL, 31 pressures, his first of the year, a thunderous strip on Tennessee's Will Levis, forcing a field goal in a 27-17 opener win. Week 10 Thanksgiving thriller versus Las Vegas, 1.5 sacks in a gritty 10-7 victory, his burst dropping Aiden O'Connell for losses totaling 12 yards. Injuries have been footnotes, a pesky ankle in 22, hamstring in 23, calf in 24, but Nik's durability shines, missing just 5 games in 3+ seasons. His game has evolved. Once a one-trick speedster, now a complete edge with counters, hand-fighting savvy, and coverage chops. 6 passes defense career. At 26, with 32.5 career sacks, he's on a Hall trajectory. His top 100 nod appears prophecy. Beyond the stats, Nik Bonitto is a tapestry of influences. Faith anchors him. Sandra's draft day mantra, a daily mantra. He mentors rookies, his communications degree fueling podcasts on mental health and sports. Romantically private, he's been linked to quiet dates in Denver's Lodo, but family remains paramount. Gerard's visits from Florida are ritual. Vincent and Sandra's divorce a lesson in enduring love. The Bonitto Foundation expands, targeting Denver public schools with nutrition drives, a nod to his own humble roots. As the 2025 season hurdles toward playoffs, Broncos at 8-3, Nik sacks fueling a top-5 defense. His story resonates. From Fort Lauderdale's humid fields, where a boy outrun shadows, to Empower Field's electric nights, where he bends the arc of NFL history, Nik Bonitto proves greatness isn't inherited. It's chased, one explosive step at a time. In a league of giants, he's the blur that changes everything, a testament to grit, grace, and the unyielding belief that home is wherever the fight takes you.